Let's begin today with something very honest and very real. Many English learners don't stop speaking because they don't know grammar. They stop because they are afraid of being judged. Afraid that someone will laugh, correct them too harshly, or look uncomfortable when they speak. If you have ever felt that fear, this episode is for you, and I want you to know from the start that your English does not need to be perfect to be respected.
That fear is powerful, and it can silence even very intelligent learners. I've met people who understand English well, who can read articles and watch videos, but the moment they open their mouth, they freeze. Not because they don't know what to say, but because they are thinking about how they will sound. Today, we want to change that relationship with English, starting with something simple and strong, the simple present tense.
The simple present tense is not basic in a negative way. It is basic in a foundational way. Native speakers use it constantly to talk about who they are, what they do, what they believe, and how they live. When you speak confidently in the simple present, you sound clear, grounded, and natural, even if your vocabulary is small.
Exactly. Think about how often native speakers say things like, I work here, I live nearby, I like my job, or I usually start early. These are not advanced sentences, but they are powerful because they are direct and honest. When learners try to skip this stage and sound advanced too early, they often feel more nervous and make more mistakes.
Let's slow this down and talk about confidence. Confidence does not come from using difficult grammar. Confidence comes from using familiar structures well. When you say, I work as a designer, and you say it calmly, without apology, you sound confident. When you say, I enjoy learning English, and you believe it, people listen to the meaning, not the grammar.
And here's something important that many learners don't realize. Native speakers rarely laugh at grammar mistakes. They react more to energy. If you speak quietly with hesitation and fear, people may interrupt or correct you more. But if you speak clearly, even with simple sentences, people usually respond with respect and patience.
This is why the simple present tense is such a good place to build confidence. It allows you to talk about facts, habits, and routines, which are things you know very well. You don't need to invent ideas. You already live them.
For example, instead of worrying about long sentences, you can say things like, I work in an office, I help customers, I enjoy my team. Each sentence is short, but together they create a complete picture. There is nothing weak about that. In fact, that's how real conversations often sound.
Let's address the fear directly. If someone laughs at your English, it says more about them than about you. Learning a language is an act of courage. Every time you speak, you are practicing a skill that takes time and effort. No serious learner or educated person looks down on that.
And in professional environments, especially in international settings, clarity is valued more than perfection. Many fluent speakers around the world use simple present tense daily to communicate clearly with people from different backgrounds. They are not trying to impress, they're trying to connect.
Now let's focus on how the simple present helps you sound stable and confident. When you say, I am responsible for this project, or I handle customer requests, you are making clear statements about yourself. These sentences show ownership, they show certainty.
And certainty changes how people perceive you. Even if your accent is strong, even if you pause sometimes, your message feels solid. The listener understands you, and that understanding builds respect.
Let's imagine a simple real-life situation. Someone asks you, what do you do? You don't need a long explanation. You can say, I work in logistics, I help customers, I enjoy my team. That's it. That's enough. That's professional English.
Yes, and notice how that answer uses only the simple present tense. No complex grammar, no pressure, just clear information.
Another example could be personal. Someone asks you, how do you practice English? You can say, I listen to podcasts. I practice speaking every day. I focus on understanding, not speed. That answer sounds thoughtful and confident.
What we want you to hear today is this. Confidence grows when your English feels useful, not impressive. The simple present tense helps you talk about real life, and real life is always relevant.
As we move forward in this episode, keep reminding yourself that you are not here to perform English. You are here to use it. Speaking naturally starts with accepting where you are and using what you already know well.
In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to respond calmly when someone corrects you, how to keep speaking without apologizing, and how to use simple present tense to hold real conversations without fear.
Now let's talk about something that happens to many learners and often hurts their confidence more than grammar itself: correction. When someone corrects your English, especially in public, it can feel uncomfortable, even embarrassing. But correction does not automatically mean criticism. How you react in that moment matters more than the correction itself, and this is where the simple present tense can protect your confidence.
Yes, because the simple present tense gives you stability. When you are using familiar sentence patterns, you are less likely to panic when someone responds or reacts. For example, if you say, "I work in customer service," and someone asks a follow-up question, you already know how to continue. You are not guessing. You are speaking from experience.
Let's imagine a situation. You say something simple, like, "I handle emails and phone calls." Someone might correct a small pronunciation or suggest a different word. At that moment, you don't need to stop or apologize. You can simply continue the conversation. You can say, "Yes, I handle customer requests every day." The conversation moves forward and your confidence stays intact.
This is an important mindset shift. You are not being tested, you are communicating. Native speakers correct each other all the time, even among themselves. It's not personal, it's part of interaction.
Another common habit learners have is over-apologizing. They say things like, "Sorry, my English is bad," before they even speak. This immediately lowers their confidence and changes how others listen. Instead, the simple present allows you to speak directly. You can say, "I'm learning English and I practice every day." That sentence is honest, strong, and calm.
And notice how it sounds. It doesn't invite judgment, it states a fact. When you speak like that, people respond differently. They respect the effort and focus on the message.
Let's talk about conversations where you feel pressure, such as at work or in a professional setting. Many learners think they need advanced grammar to sound professional, but that's not true. Professionals use this simple present constantly because it is clear and efficient.
For example, in meetings, people say things like, "I manage this process," "I report the results," "I work with the marketing team," or "I handle client communication." These are all simple present sentences, and they sound confident and professional.
When you use these structures, you reduce the chance of confusion. You also reduce your own stress because you're not juggling complex verb forms in your head.
Another key point is rhythm. Confident speakers speak with steady rhythm, not speed. When you use the simple present, your rhythm naturally becomes smoother because the structure is familiar. You pause less to think about grammar and focus more on meaning.
Now let's talk about when someone actually laughs, which is rare but emotionally impactful. If this happens, remember that your goal is communication, not approval. You don't need to react emotionally. You can stay grounded and continue speaking. When you do that, the moment passes quickly.
In fact, many confident speakers simply ignore small reactions and keep talking. That shows self-respect, and self-respect is contagious. People adjust their behavior when they see calm confidence.
Let's practice a mental example. You say, "I usually start work early and finish in the afternoon." Someone reacts unexpectedly. You don't stop. You continue with, "This schedule helps me stay focused and productive." That continuation shows control.
Exactly. The continuation matters more than the interruption.
Now think about your inner voice. Often, the harshest critic is not the listener, but yourself. You replay your sentences in your head and judge them. Using the simple present helps quiet that voice because the sentences are familiar and reliable.
When you say, "I live here," or "I enjoy my work," or "I practice English every day," you are stating truths. There is nothing to debate. That certainty builds inner confidence.
As you practice, focus on speaking without rushing. Give yourself permission to speak simply. You don't need to impress anyone. You need to be understood. Now, let's bring this episode to a calm and meaningful close by focusing on what confident English really looks like in daily life. Confidence is not about sounding perfect, and it is not about speaking quickly. It is about speaking with intention, clarity, and self-respect. When you use the simple present tense to talk about who you are and what you do, you anchor yourself in reality, and that stability carries into every conversation.
Yes, and once you accept that simple English is valid English, something changes inside you. You stop waiting for the right level to speak. You stop holding ideas in your head. Instead, you begin to share them naturally. When you say, I work hard, I value learning, or I take responsibility for my growth, those sentences communicate confidence far beyond grammar.
Let's think about everyday moments. Ordering coffee, talking with coworkers, meeting someone new, or explaining your routine. These moments do not require advanced structures. They require presence. When you speak using the simple present, you stay present. You are not chasing complex forms. You are expressing facts and habits that belong to you.
And that presence is something people feel. They may notice your accent, they may hear small mistakes, but what stays with them is how grounded you sound. Confidence is felt more than analyzed.
Another important point is consistency. Confidence grows when you speak regularly, not when you speak perfectly. The simple present supports this because it allows you to practice every day. You can talk about your morning, your work, your interests, and your goals without pressure.
Over time, these small daily moments add up. You begin to notice that people respond more naturally. Conversations feel easier. You stop thinking about grammar during speech and start thinking about meaning.
And when you make a mistake, which everyone does, you recover quickly. You don't freeze, you continue. That continuation is the true sign of fluency.
Let's also talk about respect. When you speak without apologizing for your English, you send a clear message to yourself and others. You are learning, you are practicing, you are allowed to take up space in the conversation.
If someone reacts negatively, remember that their reaction does not define your ability. Your willingness to speak defines your growth.
Now, take a moment to reflect. Think about one sentence in the simple present that describes you clearly. It could be about your work, your values, or your habits. Say it out loud. Let it feel solid.
That sentence is your foundation. From there, everything grows.
As you move forward, keep choosing clarity over complexity, presence over perfection, and consistency over fear.
Thank you for spending this time with us and for practicing English with courage.
We respect your effort and your journey. Keep speaking, keep learning, and trust your voice.
We'll see you in the next episode.